And we're back. We're back. With a little bit of latency. Tiny bit. But I'm not going to be tracking during this stream. So that shouldn't be a problem. Just a very minor annoyance in the monitor cans. That's it. Okay. So, Airwindows ConsoleX. If you're not familiar with Airwindows, everything you need to know. There's the Airwindows YouTube channel, and then airwindows.com, one word, airwindows.com. There is a toolkit called Airwindows Consolidated. I'll go ahead and might as well show it to you. See here. There we go. Wait a minute. All right. There. Okay. Whoops. Airwindows.com. There's Chris, the genius. The man is certainly a genius behind these tools. And yeah, if you've ever, encountered or even worked with a person whose IQ is somewhere north of 165, probably up into the 170s. Well, it's quite something to behold, and yeah. These tools in this toolkit are, a lot of them are very much out of the box. This guy's thinking is, in some cases, really way out of the box, and his tools have the added virtue of being generally very, very light on CPU. Light on the CPU. And no fancy UI, GUI. It's all function. And so right here at the website, Consolidated Plugin is here for users of yada yada. This is where you should start for downloading Consolidated. You click on that, and it takes you to GitHub. And right down here. So I'm a Windows 64-bit user, and there's my download right there. But there it is for Linux. And I guess DMG that's for Mac. And you download. It's got a installer wizard, and it's very simple and straightforward. And then so you do that. You install it, and then you go into your DAW, and it appears in your plugins under Airwindows. And now every time you load Consolidated, every iteration of the plugin is going to look the same. Airwindows Airwindows consolidated. So when you have multiple instances of it loaded, you have to kind of memorize which one is which. But it looks like that. With the cute graphic of the dog covering his ears. You click on the 3 bars there, and there you get your menu. It's your toolkit. It's all the tools in the toolkit. And every time he comes out with a new plugin, he updates the toolkit, and you download and install it again. And you got the new tools. Tonight is focused on ConsoleX. These are all the consoles in the toolkit. There are some, I believe there are some maybe older ones that are not in the consolidated toolkit. I think you can get those like standalone plugins. ConsoleX is a standalone plugin. For whatever reason, it's not bundled into the consolidated plugin. So, but yeah, I've used not all of these, but I've used Atmosphere. I've used let me see. I've used Console LA, which is quite nice. Console MC, I think I've used that one. Is that one of them? MC? Console Zero, that wasn't for me. Anyway, they're interesting. Console 9, I think I used that one recently. Yeah, Console MC. That one was also they're interesting. And now every tool, every plugin comes with Chris's write up on the plugin, and he's a good writer, and he'll generally give some kind of technical rundown on what's going on under the hood, maybe sort of like a little behind story on how he came up with the idea, who gave it to him in some cases, and then he'll sort of give a kind of a dumbed down explanation of what it does for dummies like me, and he writes with aplomb and humor, and all in all, it's just a great gift to the world, the Airwindows consolidated toolkit, and I can't recommend it enough. So anyways, yeah, I am, well, I started, so most of the consoles, they'll come with a channel plugin and a bus plugin. So the idea is that you put your channel plugin at the end of your plugin chain for each individual track or channel, and then you put your console bus plugin at the beginning of your 2-bus or your master channel, however you want to call it. So I've got that right here. This is ConsoleX bus at the beginning of my master bus chain. I haven't touched it yet. I mentioned in the stream video description that it seems to have been built around a plugin called Stonefire, which is a very it's very interesting tool. And I think I'm going to go ahead and read Chris's blurb on Stonefire to give you a better idea of what we're dealing with here. But it's not just Stonefire, which is kind of like an EQ that's not technically an EQ. It's very EQ-like, but it's technically speaking not an EQ based on my limited understanding. But it also has compression built into it as well. And I don't, Chris did some extensive tutorial videos on ConsoleX when it came out. I never invested the time in watching those. And so I don't know how to use this with deliberate intent. These knobs up here at the top, I think these mostly relate to these knobs, and these sliders relate to the compression stages of the algorithms inside. I have a basic working understanding of Stonefire, and so so far I'm not tweaking the compression stuff. I've toyed with it a little bit, but I've just been limiting myself to the Stonefire section. My idea originally for this stream was to use the Stonefire plugin and another plugin called Energy in order to I'm getting to the stage of getting into I hate this word since the COVID debacle, but getting into the granularity of tone shaping, texturizing, spatializing, things like that, you know. Carving out distinct places for the different parts in the arrangement. And, you know, panning and an EQ can only take you so far with that. And then there are other measures that can be taken. Enter Airwindows and tools like Stonefire and Energy, or Energy 2. I can't remember which one. Anyway, that's what it looks like. And I loaded it for the drum track. Didn't think it was improving anything, so I just bypassed it and skipped the bass. I went right to the acoustic guitar just to see if it really was going to bring anything to the table here, and I think it. I'm not sure yet, but I think it is. And before I get into that, I'm just going to dial up. Let me see. Let me find an instance. Okay, here's an instance of Consolidated that I'm not using. Actually, I don't want to touch that. I'm just going to load another instance of Consolidated down here just to read the blurb for Stonefire, which is under... No, it's not under effects. Energy 2 is under effects. but really this is a focus on Stonefire, and I think that's under filter. Yeah, Stonefire. So let's read this. Okay, Stonefire is the non-EQ EQ designed for ConsoleX. He's updated this blurb since coming out with ConsoleX. Anyway, that's a good thing. Let's read what he has to say. I haven't read it since ConsoleX came out. So there's a reason people have never turned to using Kalman filters for audio purposes. They're tricky little buggers, unpredictable, with a filter slope that makes no sense at all. This is kind of the technical end of things, but maybe you have a grasp of some of this stuff. I don't know what a Kalman filter is. Anyway, they'll take the crossover point and bounce it around wildly. They'll throw in weird gaty behaviors. They'll turn what's supposed to be a smooth filtered sound into an edgy growl and sputter. They're meant to pull real data out of a pile of noise, not to take real audio and give you anything sensible. Nobody would want a Kalman filter for audio purposes. Again, like I said, out of the box. This guy is really out of the box. He likes doing things that, ought not to be done. Stonefire uses two different kinds of Kalman filters for audio as crossovers. The top crossover is the same as what's in Air 3. The bottom crossover comes with a range control, even though that won't give you a frequency, and is the same as what's in Kalman. And when used properly, Stonefire gives you unprecedented levels of tonal control over the texture and presentation of your sound in a way that almost doesn't even have to do with frequency. I don't understand this on a technical or literal level. I just know what it does. And I like what it does. So there's that. But reading on. There's 3 bands, plus the range control: air, fire, and stone. Each can be cut back to 0 or boosted. Fire and stone match, while air has a lot more gain on tap, but will match from 0.5 down to 0.0. If you cut them back to 0, you'll get the weird Kalman behavior, but it'll help you set the range control appropriately. You can set it so stone covers the lowest lows, never just those. It will always do other stuff too, or up to the high mids and lower treble. Then, if you keep everything balanced and make smaller adjustments, the secret of the Kalman filter emerges. You have to use it as a crossover and let it apply its incredibly strong character to texture, not frequency. Now he's beginning to speak my language. It utterly fails to be a quote-unquote filter, but it's an extraordinary texture shaper, and it's what I'm going to be building the upcoming ConsoleX system around. Use the air control like you would in Air 3. You can cut back super highs while seeming to not affect the brightness at all, with a strikingly natural effect, or boost it to bring that sparkly aura and light up the sound. It's a custom algorithm that deals with high sample rates high sample rates by just ramping up the boost. Treat it with respect, but it's there to serve your needs for glitter or lack of same. Use the fire control like it was an attitude knob as much as a mid-range. You can get a lot of wildness out of this one with careful settings of range. Between fire and stone, only one can be louder. It's a crossover. If you're boosting fire, that means you want your sound to command attention. Okay, now there's a key point. Only one can be louder. So he says, right now I've got both louder, and maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but we'll see. Use the stone control like it's the bedrock of your sound. Got something in my throat. If you lean entirely on it and kill all the fire, you'll get a monumentally heavy, sputtering, gaty foundation that zeroes in on the lowest lows, but also tries to put backbone behind anything it thinks is heavy and powerful. This includes lower mid-range. Cutting it can control unwieldy bass, but adding it isn't the same as adding a bass boost. It'll zero in on things like kick weight and try to present them with unnatural isolation. The secret to adding weight with the stone control is to let it not seem to be that much of a boost. You can transform the feel of a sound well before you hear added bass, quote unquote. You can also dial the range up and use the same effect up into the mid-range for an intensely solid, punchy character anywhere a sound seems flimsy. God help you if you try to measure this thing with plug-in doctor or span. I have span right here. I don't even have any idea what will happen. It's all made out of Kalman filters, which are not for use with audio, except when they are. Smiley face, wink. Enjoy the new tone shaping. If it's too ugly, use way less and see how it treats you. Okay. So, I try to follow his instructions best I can, but ultimately, I go with what I like, with what seems to be working and giving me what I want, which is not always a good thing. But anyway, away we go. I'm going to leave energy and energy 2 aside for the moment and just let's start by A being, I've got this so far working on the acoustic guitar and on the first Strat, King Kong Strat part. And okay, first I think I'm just going to A-B the two ConsoleX channel plugins, and you can hear the difference that it's making, the way in which I am trying to use it for this mix so far. And then I'm going to go ahead and load it for track 5 and show you how I've been dialing in the settings so far. So here is, we'll start at the beginning, and I'll start by soloing the acoustic guitar part. And first I'll turn ConsoleX channel off, and I'll turn it on. So it's off and now on. off. On. So is it a tiny bit quieter? Yeah. And I might compensate for that. Haven't, with the volume fader, haven't done that yet. However, so there's a little bit of a dropout when I turn it on. What is dropping out? Well, some bass energy, but I would, to use a plainer word, I would say a little bit of boxiness. It's like it's bass energy that doesn't need to be there. But it seems to me like the kind of thing that it doesn't sound the same as if I just like added another stage of a high pass filter. It's not the same thing. These are what the settings look like. Okay, so stone is down a little bit, fire is up a little bit, and so I'm gonna so it's just with the drum. Bypassed, and then so it's a bit more focused. It's like it sucks a little bit of dead air out of the room. I gotta check on something real quick. Be right back. I guess I'll just go ahead and let this play while I'm gone unsoloed.
I've been
All right. So it's as I was saying. What was I saying? It's like, yeah, that's the best analogy I can think of. It's like heavy air that doesn't need to be in the room. Which can add up. I suppose I'm thinking I can use this to clarify and I'm just going to keep going with it and sort of like clarify and unmuddy. And now the energy that the idea is the energy I'm taking out. I'll add. I think of it in terms of redistribution, reallocation of energy. And that might make more sense here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to move on to the ConsoleX channel for this King Kong Strat part, which now you can see I've got stone and fire up. And according to Chris, if one is up, the other should be down. So anyway, I'll A-B it, and here's what it sounds like, the way I have it. And again, at first, just by itself. Off. On. Right there. Off. So there's like, yeah, it's tighter. It's more focused. It's taking some flab out, some sagginess out of it. Now, I've got stone up. He says I should have fire down. But I don't know, man. Now there's air. It doesn't... I'm not really hearing too much of a difference with that, but... Now this high pass under fire is responsible for filtering out some of that low frequency flab, what I'm calling flab. Huh? I'm streaming.